call Critter Busters?
Dad's all torn up and Mom's got like a harpoon thing in her neck and they're getting bigger.
They'll eat anything.
Those, man-eating hairballs that you do not believe in.
Critters. They bite.
They Bite is back once again, guys, with another episode. And just like our Critters 3 podcast, where we did a full discussion on Critters 3, we're going to be doing a full discussion on Critters 2. And again, today it is me, Chris. Hello, guys. And I have Sean back again.
Yeah, how's it going? Yeah.
Don't ever do that again.
That's how I introduce myself now.
Before we get into the actual discussion of Critters 2, I do have a quick announcement for everybody here. I always end up making these little announcements for some reason. I just end up finding things like online all the time.
Good. It's good. It gives us purpose.
Actually, I have two announcements. The first announcement is Bloody Disgusting has stolen our news article that we stole from someone else.
Yeah. That's really cheap of them to steal what we stole first. You know what I mean?
It was just really funny. And, I saw that and I was like, hey, wait a minute. They only shared that because they saw that I posted it on the Critters page.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's because you finally posted the link on the page. I don't know if anyone from Bloody Disgusting listens to this. If they do, touche, my friend. Touche.
That's funny. The second announcement is since we're doing Critters 2, I thought this was a very appropriate announcement. Eddie Deason, the guy who plays the nerd, does he have a name? Just Hungry Heifer Nerd? I think his name is just Hungry Heifer Nerd or something like that.
I think it says Hungry Heifer Clerk or something in the credits.
Okay.
I want to say. Yeah.
Well, if you guys are a fan of him in any way in any of his other movies besides Critters 2, he does have his own website, eddiedeason.com, and you can actually send him an email, or you can send him $20, and he will send you an autograph of one of his movies, like an 8x10 photo. And if you really want to be a fan of his, they have this thing where it's like the Eddie Deason Fan Club, and I think it's $20 as well, and you sign up for it, and they send you a Eddie Deason Fan Club like card, like badge or something like that you can have.
This is awesome.
So I haven't done it yet. I don't know when I'll be able to, but I'm definitely going to try to get like an 8x10 for Critters 2. And I think it'd be cool to have the little like membership badge too to put up with the autograph.
So there is a 8x10 for Critters 2 that he'll sign?
I'm assuming you can request any 8x10 and be like, do you have one for Critters 2? Because you send it in an email. I'm sure you could probably like tell him what kind you want, like from which movie.
Yeah. That's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, I'll try that when I get some money and see what I get in return.
Yeah, you definitely should. Eddie Deason kicks ass.
So I thought that was like kind of a cool little thing that I found out before I did this podcast.
Yeah, we got to get that guy.
It'll happen. It won't be anytime soon, but it will happen. I know that he's busy up until August.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, there's a hint, guys. We will probably be interviewing Eddie Deason about how he doesn't remember Critters 2.
World's shortest podcast.
I don't know. I think we can just rap about anything, just not talk about Critters much. Probably have a good time.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude probably doesn't even remember Grease. Probably didn't even have an idea that would matter. He's only in it a few scenes. Guy probably doesn't remember anything.
I think he was in like the lead star of a movie called Teenage Exorcist or something like that from the 90s.
Well, that sounds pretty cool.
Maybe the late 80s. And I remember it being like a pretty bad movie, but I think he was the lead in that one or something.
Leanne said that he seemed straight edge to her, which I always just assumed Eddie Deason was probably like, I don't know, big cokehead or something. Just see like the type of guy that would do a bunch of coke and be like, yeah.
He's a very strange seeming person, yeah.
Yeah, I bet he's gotten a lot of chicks too, for being the epitome of nerd actors. I bet that guy scored more than any nerd. Good for him. He's got a fan club. He's probably scored,
Yeah. He pays in buffalo chips and moo shakes from the Hungry Heifer restaurant.
Do you like a buffalo shake or some blue chips? Oh, dude.
No, but I'll take something else.
I get so into that movie that I always forget that it's still Eddie playing the scene where Lee transforms into him. Obviously, it's him playing the part, but it's like he only has one scene in the movie, and it's like, well, no, he doesn't. He goes on and does that. But
yeah.
I get so wrapped up in it, I forget about acting.
Oh, that character is so strange in that movie, but we'll get to his character a little bit later. And I figured the best way to do this is just go ahead and start with the beginning of the movie and just work our way through it.
Yeah. All right. So,
and just like the first film, this one opens up in space on like another planet or asteroid or wherever. You don't really know where they're at, but they're somewhere not on Earth.
Yeah, and they're just they're on a mission when the movie starts, taking down some like giant centipede thing.
Yeah, I always thought those were really cool, and I was kind of hoping that we would see more of those throughout the series, and we never saw any other creature life forms at all.
No, but I've seen the prop of it, and I'm sure you have too.
Yeah.
Pop up online, like that exists somewhere, and that's really. It even has like a big blast taken out of it, from where I believe Ugg shot it. And then the big ugly headed thing shows up. You know, the thing that tells the bounty hunters what to do. And he looks different in this movie.
Very different. Cheaply different.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a big fat slob anymore. Now he looks like he's been working out, you know?
Yeah, in the first one, it was played by an actual person in makeup, and this one just seems to be an actual puppet animatronic creature thing.
I never knew that.
Yeah. I'm not sure for sure if that's it, but it definitely seems like it's not an actual person in a suit.
I agree. The first one's definitely a person, and the second one, yeah, that's kind of 50-50. I can't tell, but I definitely believe the first one is a human. Yeah.
And I've always wanted that opening scene in From Critters 2 to be kind of what a spin-off series would be for a Critters TV series. Like back in 2014 when they announced like the whole TV series thing, I've always like, why don't they do the whole Critters 2 sequence with the bounty hunters hunting other creatures, other aliens, and that'd be like every episode would be a different creature that the bounty hunters are hunting until you get to the finale with the critters.
Yeah, or as we've discussed, maybe not in the podcast, but I've discussed the Tremors TV series. You know, not every episode focused on the graboids. And, that would have been awesome, man, if it just followed the bounty hunters. And the Krites found their way into the plot more often than realistically they would. But I would have eaten up that.
And it wouldn't be called like Critters the series. You could call it Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that would have been fucking great.
Yeah.
I would have loved that. Wow.
There you go, Warner Brothers New Line. Hire me for a writer. I'll do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Dumbasses. So then, where do we go from there? Let's see. Then we come back down to Earth, and we're on the bus. We're on the bus with Brad.
Brad, who looks like he's like 10 years older, but it's only been 2 years.
Yeah. Got his ear pierced. He's got his ear pierced. He's got a mullet. Got his Easter suit. I don't know. Does he have his Easter suit on yet?
Yeah. So we get on the bus and we see the epiphany of the 80s culture all in one person.
Exactly. Back when they still put redheaded people in movies.
Yeah, he's on his way to see his grandma, and okay. I have a question about this. You might know this, Sean, or maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. The bus driver, he turns around and is talking to Brad. And he's telling him about the current or the recent event that happened 2 years ago, the first Critters movie, basically, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, do you know, the woman, her grandma is any friends of the Browns? Do you know him? And he kind of says it in a way where, like, does he know that Brad is that same kid? Or
I don't. They kind of edit it that way, but I really don't think so. I think that the guy's just like way into it. And he's like, maybe a friend of your grandma. His best line is one of those unidentified UFOs.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say this. The actor who played him has since passed away.
He did.
but his character is actually really funny. I've always thought it was funny.
Yeah, I really love that character.
Especially,
Like I said,
I'm going to go ahead and jump like right at the end of it, and at the to the end of the movie, whenever the bus driver shows back up, and he's like, "What the hell just happened?" Or something.
yeah. Did I miss something here? That Harv tells them off. Yeah, that unidentified UFOs line. Unidentified flying objects. It's like the dude doesn't know what UFO stands for. That fucking line gets me every time.
You know what? Until you said that, I never actually picked that up. I never realized that.
Are you serious? Oh my God, I love that line. What are those unidentified UFOs?
Yeah, like, I mean, it makes sense when you say it like that, but I never put two and two together as it being like a double, like, negative, you know?
Yeah. It's one of the best jokes in the movie. Glad I could point it out for you.
Yeah, there's a scene with him that's in the TV version where it's in that same scene. Yeah, and he mentions the Smurfs.
He does. Yeah,
it doesn't flow well. Like, if you've seen it, I have the video on there. If you watch it, like, I understand why they cut it out of the theatrical version, because it doesn't flow well at all. I don't know if it's the actor that says it weirdly or if it's just the actual dialogue itself.
Yeah, all the deleted scenes that were put in for the TV version, I don't think any of them had anything really. It's just another way to watch the movie to me, but I don't know. Unless you can think of one, can you?
Well, there is a scene where the dog dies, and you actually see the dog. You see the dog snooping around the antique store, and he comes up to the eggs, and he's sniffing the eggs, and then you see like the critters hatch out of the eggs, and then it cuts to outside the antique store, and you hear the dog like howl, cry, or whatever.
I can see why they cut that, because any time I've ever showed someone that movie, they're always like, "Oh my God, the dog died." I never even thought about it. Like, yeah, kill that fucking dog. A little critters. No.
Yeah.
So I could see they putting that extra scene in probably would upset people even more, apparently, because it upsets people.
Yeah.
But what was that dog's name? That dog was a good character.
I don't know his name, but I know that it references Cujo. I always remember that line.
Oh, it is. No, his name's not Cujo. Yeah, the one dude. So it was Cujo, which is like another nod to Dee Wallace.
Yeah.
I always felt.
Yeah, I always liked it because when I was a kid, they referenced another movie I had seen, and I was like, yeah, Cujo, I watched that movie.
Yeah, it was a sad movie, man. I remember as a kid, let me be personal here, I was very afraid of horror movies, and my dad looked at me like he was giving me some deep advice, and he's like, the only scary movie is Cujo. That could really happen.
Your dad was mean.
Yeah, I know. My dad still is mean, for the record. Holy shit, man.
You want a real horror movie, Sean? Look at your life.
Yeah. No shit, buddy. No, let's not go there. Holy shit. So then you had Brad, what even happens from there? Then we meet Megan Morgan, and she enters the movie butt first.
Yeah, which she seems very happy about doing.
Yes, yeah. That's a great scene. We're introduced to let's see. Harv's secretary is not his secretary anymore. Now she works for the paper with her husband.
Yeah, the Grover's Bend Gazette.
Yeah, yes. Which in the first one, she appeared to be single because the cop was always hitting on her. So I'd assume in the 2 years she got married to the guy who writes the paper about nothing happening in the town.
Oh, I never thought that Sal and the newspaper guy were husband and wife.
Didn't you?
No, I never did.
I always thought that was Megan Morgan's dad and mom. It is.
No, I know that he's her dad, but I never thought that was the mom. I never thought she was that same character. I thought she was just working there.
Holy shit, I think you're right, dude. Oh, you're right. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I just always made that assumption. Yeah, she's just working there now. Yeah,
I don't know. Does somebody out there know that? Can clarify that? I don't know.
Does it ever show the mom? It doesn't.
No. I always just thought that it was that he was single dad.
And then when they're in the church at the end, there's Sal comforting the dad, right next to him, holding him and stuff, So that led me to think it even more.
Huh. Well, now I'm second guessing myself.
Well, I think.
Screw you, Sean. Now I don't know the movies.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think they might be dating, but it's probably not Sal's kids. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll find somebody who knows this.
Nobody knows if we don't, dude.
I'll ask Mick Garris.
But I don't know. I never thought about it. It's just a movie.
Sean, what do you think of the grandma character?
I love her. I think she's one of the funniest elements. I've dated a lot of vegan girls, and every time I get to show them the movie, it's funny to watch them cringe. And be like, see, you were a stereotype in the 80s, too. No. But, yeah, she's freaking hilarious, man. The carob.
Yeah, that scene in the shop with the antique owner and stuff and her, for some reason, I was annoyed by it as a kid because, she smacks the little girl's hand away with the frog or whatever, and she's like,
"Oh, that frog was cool."
She's like, "Just take this old egg and a piece of candy or something,"
Ain't nothing can hurt you in here, especially no frog.
Yeah. I don't know why. I just didn't like her then. I liked her in the scene where the critters attack her at her house. And, Brad's like, where's the remote? The bounty hunter remote. And she's like, oh, the remote control for the TV. And he's like, no.
Yeah, he still is. This is not the remote for the TV, Grandma. He's like, push the button, Bob.
She got really excited because she remembers where it was. She's like, oh, the remote for the TV. It's over here.
Yeah. Yeah, she's really believable. I love everything about her. In fact, it's kind of a shame she kind of is only in the first half of the movie. She really kind of, the character fades away.
Yeah,
she
does. She does disappear right after that scene.
Yeah, pretty much. She has the scene where they meet her, Mr. Quigley's, the church function, and then when she gets attacked, and then it's pretty much gone for Grandma. I don't even know. I want to say they show her again at the end when Charlie dies.
Yeah, standing outside with the people.
I want to say that's the next shot of her in the movie and the final one.
Yeah, I can't remember either, but you're probably right.
Yeah, but I liked her a lot, man. She's one of the better characters.
What do you think about Brad returning from his role from the first movie compared to what he did in the first movie?
I would say if there are any throwaway characters in Critters 2, it would be Brad. That reminds me of another scene that always makes me laugh. I love in Critters 2 where he's up in his room in his Nana's house, and he pulls out that stock photo from Critters 1 of him and Charlie.
Who took the damn photo?
Dude, yeah, exactly. That scene is in the movie. Nobody takes a picture right there. The picture's on the back of the fucking VHS. You probably own a 8x10 printout of it. And I was like, yeah, you do, don't you? It's just so funny. It's like, oh shit, I love that one. It always makes me laugh.
They could have at least got a scene with them together that wasn't in the final movie. Or there's got to be a production scene of some sort, of them doing press, Yeah.
You'd think the two same actors weren't in the fucking second movie. Well, how are we ever going to get a picture of these two together?
Yeah. I would even been fine if it would have been him, Brad grown up a little bit, from Critters 2 with a picture of him.
Yeah, it'd be a little more, it'd still be a little humorous, but it wouldn't be as funny as them just pulling up that stock photo. I wish it had copyright on the corner of it and shit.
I want to edit that scene to where it's him holding the picture of them together with them holding the picture of them together with it's a never-ending mirror effect.
Dude, please do that. Dude, please do that. I'm dying. Oh, that's so funny. You'd say, to me, that's so funny. You'd think it'd go mass viral, but no one's going to care. That's so brilliant. Holy shit. Do that instead of the podcast.
Yeah. If I knew how to do it, I totally would.
But yeah, he's cool. I love Quigley. I fucking love Mr. Quigley. It makes sense that he dies, but I think if he didn't and he was kind of alongside Brad the rest of the movie, it would have been just as equally good because he was really funny. Kind of a guy you love to hate.
Yeah. I love his death scene.
Yeah, me too. It's easily my favorite scene in the movie. When he comes out the door and drops, and then it shows those two critters next to each other.
Yeah, that scene is probably one of the best looking scenes throughout the franchise that involve the critters, like the showing of the critters, like the display or whatever I'm trying to. What's the word I'm looking for? Like the main show, like when it shows them arrive for the first time.
Yeah,
that type of thing.
It is perfect, and they use those two puppets that are connected to each other. A few other shots in the movie, and every time it does, those are just my favorite shots. Whoever owns the prop of those two that are connected owns pretty much my grail in life.
Yeah, I like how Mr. Quigley bargains with beer and Playboys.
Oh, of course, and yeah, we can't forget the beer. You know, it's literally called beer. And, what's the asshole's name? The 80s rocker guy. Something I always never understood about him, though, is that he has a thing for Megan. He kind of treats her like they probably like hooked up in the past. But are they the only two kids in their school? There are no other people their age in town except maybe Eddie Deason. No, he's not a kid either. So yeah, they're the only two teenagers in that town. So I can see why Brad coming back would upset him. He's literally the only. It's like, I'm the only choice right now. Doesn't matter how nerdy and redheaded you are. You're fucking your competition.
It makes so much sense.
like there's a whole freaking preschool like of kids, you know.
Yeah, and there's like 50 or 60 parent like adults and everything, but yet there's only two teenagers.
I think they all made a pact in that town. It was like, okay, we're not going to have kids until like 1986.
So they all left because of the first incident.
Do you think so?
I don't think. I think we're looking too deep into it.
Yeah, I think it just is what it is. This is a town with 25 kindergarteners, you know, or whatever, 2 teenagers, and a bunch of old people. That's what this town is. Holy shit. But yeah, and then where does it go? You know, Charlie comes down.
Yeah, we get the awesome meeting of Sean. Me and you meet in this movie. We get the awesome meeting of Charlie and Brad reuniting for their role.
Charlie, Brad. I love
that scene, and him explaining to Brad why he's going to be leaving again soon is great.
Yeah, and then he quotes Star Trek.
Yeah. I have a friend that I showed this movie to when I was in high school, and we got to that part, and I obviously knew what the whole entire quote. I can quote the whole movie pretty much. Yeah. And it got to that part, and he's like, "I gotta go where the cosmic winds blow me."
Yeah.
And my friend started laughing, and I know for a fact he wasn't a Star Trek fan or anything like that. Like, he doesn't like Star Wars, Star Trek, or any space stuff like that, right? So I was like, after the movie was over with, I was like, what did you find funny about that line? And he goes, dude, the guy went up to space to have all the cosmic women blow him. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, the cosmic women blow me. And I was like, he doesn't say that.
So he just heard something that wasn't there?
Yeah. So every time I watch the movie now, I think of the cosmic women blow me, and it cracks me up for no reason.
It wouldn't even be a good joke if it were written that way.
Oh, gosh.
It'd be the dirtiest joke in the movie, but it'd come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was never a big Star Trek guy growing up, but I knew that was a Star Trek quote. But I couldn't ever tell if it was supposed to be funny. Like him just like drifting off, be like, I gotta go where the cosmic winds blow me. I gotta go where no man has gone before. You know, it's just like, I don't know if that's intentionally funny or not, but it always gets a giggle out of me.
I never found it funny until my friend misquoted it, and then I found it hilarious. But I
That
always thought
scene-
the scene was great because it gave more empathy to Charlie, I think.
Yeah, that scene makes me tear up, actually.
Yeah, he finally
Just like-
found
yeah.
a reason, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of moments in this movie with Charlie make me tear up. Actually, there's something about that character.
Which brings me to the next part. Well, the part right before that, actually. Whenever Charlie's in space, and right before they come down to Earth,
Yeah.
he's in the spaceship with Ugg and Lee, and he's like, "We're not going back to Earth, are we?" And they're
Yeah.
like, "Charlie, bounty hunter." He's like,
It gets me. every time.
"Yeah, Charlie bounty." Like he's
Charlie
like real
Bounty
sad.
Hunter.
Yeah, he's like, "I
You
only
guys
ever
are
had
all
one
right.
friend."
Yeah, Brad. Yeah, Brad.
Yeah, I love that scene, and
Yeah, me too.
I
man.
actually, when I was in college, I actually did a presentation on that particular scene for
Really?
one of my classes. We had one of my film classes. We had to present a scene from a movie and depict it into several different parts. One being like something that happens that like somebody doesn't like, leading into something being questioned, leading into something happy. And I was like, that's perfect. So I used
That
that
is.
scene and I had to show it in the class in front of like 100 students or whatever, and nobody knew what this movie was. And when we got done with it, they were like, "Can we see the puppets?" I was like, so I had to show them a scene from the puppets, and everybody was like, "Dude, they're just puppets." I was like, "Not to me."
This school sucks. I'm getting out of here. You guys don't know good critters.
Yeah, it's like I used Critters 2 in a film study class.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. That fucking rules, actually.
The returning of Sheriff Harv,
Well, that's very
which
true.
is played by a different actor this time around.
I love Sheriff Harv in this movie.
I do too. I think Barry Corbin, who plays Sheriff Harv in this one, did a much better job than the one in the first movie played by M. Emmett Walsh, but they were asking for two different types of characters.
That's the thing. They need to be compared because it's the same character, but since they are so not the same character, it's, the first one, he's almost like a Simpsons cop, bumbling and stupid, and he's not going to be able to help. And he kind of does too.
And M. Emmett Walsh, who played him, did a perfect job at playing that character.
Yes, the scene where he says he swallowed his chewing tobacco.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love that too.
I swallowed my chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
But
like you wouldn't want the two characters switch. Like you wouldn't want to put Barry Corbin into the first one and put M. Emmett Walsh in the second one.
No, it seriously just wouldn't make sense. And I've never questioned it, or sat there and been like, well, that's stupid that they changed him so much, because it just worked so well that, it just doesn't matter to me. Plus, he wasn't that important of a character in part one. He is an important character in part two.
Yeah, very important. He's not the hero. He tries to be the hero.
He's more heroic than Brad.
Yeah, Brad isn't a hero at all. Well, I mean, Brad did go rescue the girl.
Yeah, Brad just tells Megan to shut up the whole movie. Did you notice that? After after the first 10 minutes where he's like into her, then just like he's annoyed by her, he just constantly tells her to shush.
That was the earring talking.
Yeah, I don't know if you could ever, you could make a fucking drinking game out of it. How many times Brad tells Megan Morgan to be quiet in the movie? Kind of
they have a good car ride together where they're like when they first meet, they have a good car ride when he's like kind of like a Jimmy Olsen with breasts, and then it's like this awkward pause.
Yeah, he's not very smooth. In fact, I still think at the end she should have went with the other dork.
Why can't we think of his name?
I don't know. It's gonna bother me. I bet one of the 5 people that listen to this right now is like shouting it.
Yeah, they're mad at us right now. I'm not listening to this podcast again. They don't know nothing.
I just remember Brad calling him chicken shit.
Yeah.
Does that help you?
He hollers his name and he's like, chicken shit. Yeah. Shoot. No, I'm not gonna remember it.
Wesley.
I'll edit this.
Wesley.
Wesley.
Fucking Wesley. Yeah. I think Megan still should have went with Wesley. There was really nothing too redeeming about Brad except that he was in part 1. Does that even make sense? She does treat him that way. She's like, oh, you were in Critters 1. That's kind of how she treats him the whole movie.
They should have said that. That would have been hilarious. And he'd have been like, you're Bradley Brown. How do you, did we go to school together? No, you were in the first movie, dipshit.
Oh, yeah, sweet. Brad Brown is back in town.
The boy who cried Critter.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Let's see, where does it go from there? Let's talk about Cindy.
Do we have to?
Yes, because I know I've mentioned this before, but I never noticed Cindy. In fact, I want to say she probably annoys me.
She annoys me too.
Yeah, I don't really like the kid.
I like the scene where she is in the bed and the critter rolls under the bed when it first hatches, and then the dad steps on it. Steps on the chocolate.
Yeah.
Or not? He steps on the critter. He doesn't step on the chocolate.
I like it because of the mad ball and the critter, though, not because of her.
Yeah, but it makes a good scene.
Yes, but as I've said, I think maybe I said this on podcast before. I had a friend whose ex-girlfriend, I was showing them the movie, and she recalled seeing the movie as a kid, and she really related to Cindy, and that made the movie really scary for her for some reason. So I just think Cindy's worth mentioning just for that, because I never noticed her, but obviously for some people out there, you could focus in on that.
Yeah, I hated her character because she's a stupid character. They tell her to stay inside the church, and the kids know that something's going on. And yet she's like, well, I'm going to ride my tricycle out here. And then,
I know, this fucking asshole.
And then the critters attack. They And then the critters attack. And she's like, I'm not going to run away. I'm going to pedal 1 mile per hour on my tricycle and just scream and scream and scream.
Church.
Yeah. And that leads to where Brad becomes a hero, where Brad comes and chases her. And
yeah, I think they wrote that. They were like, Brad's really not doing much.
Yeah.
And then still, Brad, he's not the hero, dude. He went and whacked him with a stick, and then he's about to get fucking eaten, and he's holding the girl close to him. In fact, I would say he's almost holding her out. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, probably.
But then Sheriff Harv, Sharv, man, for short. He shows up and he blasts all those fucking, John Wayne style.
Mm-hmm. I really think that's what his character was written as. I think they wrote him as a John Wayne character.
Yeah, 100%, dude. He even, twirls the guns on his fingers and blows away the smoke after he does it, man.
Yeah. He even talks similar to him, with, the style.
Yeah. He's really funny, too. It was before he decides to do it when he's just, hates everybody. He's just on a scale of importance, I'd put that next to a pineapple quiche and a pimple on my ass.
I like whenever Sal goes to visit him at his trailer, and he opens the door and he's wearing his boxers and watching Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. His life rules, honestly. It's an RV. It's not even a trailer. It's just got some boxers, a TV, and an RV. That rules.
We get introduced to the death of Lee in this movie.
We do. It's a sad scene.
And it sucks because that limits the character in, the sequels. But it does revolve a awesome sequence, which I love, when the bounty hunters are going out in the town and are looking for the critters, and it stumbles upon the ramsacked version of the critters, where they jump out from behind hay bales. And
yeah, that's one of the few scenes. I know you said in the Hungry Heifer scene you can tell they're puppets. I personally think that scene is where I can tell they're puppets.
Oh, when it's just the heads just pop around each corner of the hay bale and that's it.
Yes, yeah. But disregard that. I mean, it's pointless. But Yeah, that scene is. I mean, you could see it coming. I remember even as a kid, the first time I saw it, I could see it was coming. But the reveal, just the arm still holding the gun, just like shredded away. And I think that was like the first time they really showed that in a pack, critters can just like strip you down to your skeleton. Because even Quigley, they didn't do that too, and they didn't do it at all in the first movie.
Yeah. And that was also the first time that, like, well, not the first, but in this movie it was, where it was, like, pretty gory.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that was some true gore. Yeah. Then Ugg shows up and lets out that battle cry, and the face starts, like, taking all these pictures of monkeys and shit. I always thought that represented, like, I don't even know how to put this necessarily.
I was, like, reversing its humanity.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, which I always thought was pretty fucking deep, honestly. But that is a really badass scene. Charlie's like, "Oh, I was losing it." Yeah.
Yeah.
He turns into a surfer for a second.
That leads to a funny scene later on, though, when they get back to the church, and, like, they're helping the bounty hunter, they're helping Ugg into the church to sit down, and Sal's like, "He ain't breathing," and Charlie's like, "Oh, that's okay. He don't have a mouth."
Yeah, I know. It doesn't even make sense. Yeah.
I love that scene.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, we didn't mention the turning into Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, which is a great scene. We've already discussed it. People always say the movie should have just turned into Freddy Krueger from there. We don't agree.
Yeah.
It overshadowed the movie. Even if it was more known for it, it would have been known for all the wrong reasons. But,
there should have been a deleted scene where Lee goes into the video store and is like looking at like 10 different movies and trying to figure out which one to. You know how like we used to go into video stores and figure out which one to rent.
Yeah,
It'd be like
exactly.
Lee going in there to figure out which one to turn into.
Which one? Yes. Actually, I hope that does exist. I always wish that they would have went inside the video store back then.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Storming.
We get to the scene where they're in the church and they are debating what to do with the critters. And
that's a great scene.
The whole town is gathered in there, and I love this scene. It's my single favorite scene from the movie, and it displays so many different characters from the film, and it lets you know exactly how each one feels, where they're all coming from the franchise, and it's such a great movie or great scene in the movie.
Yeah, I know, and one of the funniest lines of, "I say the boys bad news and shoes." I always quote that.
Yeah, that little old man, I like him. He's funny.
Yeah. You know what sucks? I always thought he was the old man that got ran over by the critter ball at the end, but he's not. And I think it should have been him.
Yeah. Yeah, it should have been him.
Yeah, it would have been a lot more funny if that guy got killed. But it's just some random guy.
If it would have left everything but his shoes, like his shoes, or took everything but just his shoes left behind.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think most people would have picked up on why that was funny, but that would have kicked ass.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've noticed this, and I don't know if anybody else really notices this either, but they decided to go ahead and blow up the polar burgers, and they gather the town to get like supplies and everything, and they drive to the Polar Burger building, and right in front of the building there is a dead security guard laying there, like right in front of the gate. And it's hard to see on VHS, but on DVD, and I have a bigger screen TV, it's easier to see, just security guard laying dead in front of the gate. And I've always wondered, like, is there another scene that exists somewhere that we didn't see, it's been edited or cut out, where it shows the critters attacking this guy? Because that would have been cool.
Wow. That's awesome. I've only seen the movie on DVD a few times. I still watch it on VHS, so I've probably never noticed that, man.
Yeah, next time you put it in, next time you put the DVD in, get to that scene and watch right when they start gathering up supplies for the Polar Burger. When they pull up to the building, you see the dead body just sitting there.
That's awesome, because really the movie doesn't show a lot of corpses. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I love the movie, but in the there's like a montage scene where it's like the critters are just fucking up the town and everyone's running away.
Yeah.
And there aren't too many shots with people getting eaten at all. I don't think there are any. There's there's a guy that gets knocked over by him like a bowling ball, and it makes a sound effect.
That's great.
Yeah, but that doesn't get gory at all. It just knocks him down.
But there is another scene with another dead body that is hard to see, and I don't know if that's another deleted scene or not. Whenever Wesley, remembered his name this time, when he is, you know how he leaves town. He drives up to the edge of the road, and there's like the telephone pole is across the road. If you look, there is a utility person that is dead there.
I may have noticed that, but are they being eaten in the scene, or are they just lying there dead?
I think they're just lying there dead. I don't think they're.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah, there aren't too many shots of people being eaten by critters in this fucking movie, actually. In fact, do we not really see that until Critters 3 with Frank?
Well, I mean, it does happen in the first movie with Jay, where the first critter attacks Jay.
And the douchebag in the barn. He's getting his stomach eaten out pretty good.
Yeah. In this one, no, nobody really gets fully attacked or mauled by the critters.
No, they really don't. No, everyone's just kind of running from the balls and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's why it's more, because it's more like cartoony. I think that's why they did that probably. If they put more gore in it, they probably would have had amped up the rating.
Yeah, which they do have a lot of funny sound effects. Part 3 has a lot more like Looney Tunes sound effects, but Part 3 actually goes a little further with the gore. Maybe not, but just like seeing Frank holding it against his stomach while it's eating him, I always thought that was pretty badass.
Yeah, that's a great scene.
Yeah. Yeah, and which movie is it where, like in Jordan Downey's movie, where he's holding the puppet up against his neck, kind of? That's imitating a specific scene in one of the movies. And is that in Part 3?
I actually thought it was from the first movie with Jay, because it leaps out from the side. You know how he reaches over to try to grab it from the shelf, and it bites, and he pulls his hand back, and then one attacks him from the side, and it bites his neck.
That's right. That is the first way they attack. Okay. Yeah. So then they get a bunch of dynamite, because in this town, all there is a restaurant, the meat packing company for the restaurant, and a building that carries dynamite, and a daycare center. And Quigley's antique shop,
For it being a small town, there was a lot of buildings in this place. Like every building is a store of some sort.
Yeah, but it doesn't. There's not much. There's no names on any of them or anything. You just tell they're stores.
Yeah, it's like Grover's Bend Gazette, Grover's Bend Supermarket, Grover's Bend this.
Yeah. In fact, where do all the people live? Now that I think about it. Jesus Christ. So then they get the dynamite, and they're just shoving it into burgers and stuff. I love that scene.
Yeah, they're luring the critters to the burger joint, or the factory.
Yeah. Which, I don't know why. Oh, yeah, they get a giant fan. That's Looney Tune-ish.
Yeah.
Like a Wile E. Coyote stunt.
And I'm pretty sure the boxes with the dynamite says Acme on it.
They do. Yeah. I always thought that was funny. And then I love how they're sticking the dynamite in the burger and then covering up with cheese, as if the critters would be like, "Whoa, guys, there's dynamite in here. I've seen this before." It's got wires coming out of it.
Yeah. I was like, is a critter going to bite into a burger and be like, "That's not meat"? Or, how, we bite into a burger and there's something hard in it, we spit it out.
Yeah, critters don't. They don't give a fuck. I mean, they are stoked if there's no bones, which is a great scene.
There should have been a scene where they asked the grandma to go into the hamburger factory to set dynamite, and she would have been disgusted because of the meat, so she wouldn't have done it, and then the critter comes out and eats her.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't have her make another joke during that scene. Yeah, they really just kind of dispose of her after everything.
Yeah. So what do you
Oh,
think of the scene with that where the bounty hunter actually turns into the critter and lures the critters to the factory?
I love it. I think there's a one shot where it looks really kind of stupid.
Like the halfway process of it growing.
Yeah, and the arms are just kind of flopping around. But it's still awesome. And then Megan Marsh, it was the bounty hunter. She like does some self-narration for us in case we're too dumb.
Yeah, it's like we already seen that. Like, why did you?
Yeah, it's the bounty hunter. He did it, Like, okay. And Brad's like, shh. He just tells her to shut up. People, watch this movie back and notice how many times Brad tells Megan to be quiet. The guy is not a good boyfriend. Wesley was way better.
I'm actually, I put the movie on in the background as I'm sitting here doing this, and I'm actually on that scene right now watching the critter grow. That's funny.
Really?
Yeah. It looks like a Planet of the Apes map.
Yes, it does. It gets very Planet of the Apes-ish at one point. Yeah, it looks pretty stupid.
When I was a kid, I always thought that the critter turned into a bounty hunter. It wasn't the bounty hunter that turned into the critter. And I was like, what is he doing? Why is he helping this guy? I don't understand. It's a critter.
Oh, really?
When did the critters become able to transform into the shapeshifters too? I was like, man, that's cool. And then when I got a little older, I was like, oh, okay.
I thought it was a good twist because they obviously thought to throw out the giant critter premise from part one, but they kind of brought it back because if you'd seen the first one, you figured, okay, another one got big again. But then it just turns out to be ugly. So I thought that was actually pretty clever writing on their part.
Mm-hmm.
And I always liked that they got rid of the giant critter idea. I hope the new series doesn't bring that back. One thing that I would like to, since we talk about critters too, and I haven't brought this up, do you think that they will bring back the giant critter ball? It almost seems like they would really want to, because that's what everyone remembers.
I think they will, but
Me too.
in all honesty, I think it would be CG'd.
Yeah, me too. I don't think, yeah.
I think that they would probably do everything else animatronic, and they would probably show like the critters rolling to form a ball, and then when it forms into a giant ball, it would be CG'd.
And then we'll all be complaining.
Yeah.
So they might as well just not even do it.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe it would be really, really good. Maybe they'll do some type of like, maybe they'll mix and match. Maybe they'll just make like a ball with like fur and stuff, and then do like CG like eyes and teeth.
I could see that. But maybe they'll put a lot more detail in it. Because I know the few times I have watched on the DVD, there are a few shots where you can tell there's a big ball with no faces on it. It's just kind of like panning out on the world, and seeing all the colors. And it doesn't look as good as it does on the tape, for sure.
Yeah. Now this one, we are talking about the giant ball, so that is something that was brought to this movie that didn't get used in any other movie. That and the fact that they all can like form together to make it bigger balls.
They kind of do it in part 3.
Well, I don't know if they ever actually form together, do they?
I want to say there's at least one scene where they roll together to knock open a door, maybe, or something. Or maybe they don't. Maybe that's in part 2 as well. No, they never did it again, did they?
Yeah. No. The part in part 3 where they're knocking over the door.
Yeah, he's doing the hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, he's just rolling, and the other ones are standing behind or beside the door, like like, hurry up, get this thing open, like they're the leaders.
Yeah, they're egging them on. Yeah, it's kind of love that scene.
So yeah, we get the giant critter ball.
Yeah, which everyone remembers this series for. That is what people remember it for.
I want to know what kind of factory blows up from dynamite and only explodes the inside of the building.
You're so right. It blows up, and then it's just standing there again in one piece. And then, also, do critters multiply with explosions? Because there were not that many critters to form that ball. And everyone points that out when I show them the movie.
Yeah, there was not enough time for them to realize that there was something going on and to form a giant ball just before the explosion happened.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's awesome. And every time it happens, it's just when they break out and that ball comes out, my heart still drops. because it's just so fucking awesome. I wish that, and I understand why, and for those who don't know, everyone remembers the Critters 2 cover art with the giant ball on it from the VHS, but in theaters that was not the artwork. They just stole the artwork from the first one and had the critter holding a giant number 2.
Yeah.
And I wish that I could have seen the movie not knowing that that ball was going to happen, because I'm sure that I was, in fact, the first time someone told me about the movie, they told me about the critter ball running over that guy and leaving his skeleton. So I always knew to expect it. And I think the only person I know that saw it in theaters was Jonathan Lindsay. You know, and it must have been surreal. Like, the first time that happened, it was probably hilarious. But I wish I could have seen it that way.
Yeah, I wish I could have too.
Yeah.
But I was just a wee little kid then.
Yeah. I was born in '87, so I was probably still taking a dump in my diaper and stuff.
Nothing's changed, has it?
Yeah, I got one of those diaper fetishes.
What do you think about the giant critter ball, though? Do you think it's a good addition to the franchise?
Yes, I'm sure I'm biased. It's probably not. It's probably a terrible idea, but I absolutely love it. So I can't make a comment on that. I don't know. I would like them to bring it back, but I don't think they'll do it right. So I don't think they should.
Yeah.
It makes sense that it never happened in any other movies. It makes Critters 2 a stand on its own film. I could see people only liking Critters 2 and saying they didn't like the first one or any of the others. There's something about that critter ball that makes it stand out so much on a B monster movie level.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want them to really do anything with the critter ball because I like part 2 having that one specific thing. But then again, I kind of want the series to be more of like a reference to everything else as well. So I kind of do on different ways. So it's like I'm 50-50 as well.
I would like to see like 4 of them join together and create a bigger one like they do in the beginning of the movie at times. But as far as the epic critter ball, there's some things that should never be done twice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when I think I love little monster movies and giant monster movies, and I'm familiar with almost all of them, and I think everyone who's into that will agree that something about the giant critter ball and Critters 2, it's probably what makes the franchise.
Yeah, it's one of the big things. Yeah, everybody remembers that critter ball, and the fact that it takes place on Easter.
Yeah, that's become a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, every time that Easter comes around, which it's almost Easter time, so we're going to be seeing stuff pop up on Facebook and everything, social media of Critters 2 and everything.
There's that Easter cake someone made years ago that always gets posted. So the Critters 2 Easter cake. Everyone symbolizes Critters 2, you know, in the horror community with Easter. And that's awesome.
Oh, we keep forgetting to mention this, Sean. This year is the 30th anniversary of Critters 2.
God damn right it is, dude. Hell yeah. This is a great year for movies, period, 30 years ago, 1988. So many good movies came out. But obviously the best was Critters 2.
This leads us to the end of the movie where Charlie sacrifices himself to save the town.
Yeah. Which every time he says, I'm a bounty hunter, right before he goes down, I cry, man. I've never watched the movie without crying at that scene.
The first time that I watched the movie, I really thought Charlie had died. And I was so sad, and I'm pretty sure I cried as well.
Yeah, there's something about it. It still makes me every time, because even though he didn't, he made the decision thinking he was going to. So,
yeah,
you know, so the dude's such a hero, man. I love him. It's fucking awesome.
He is my single favorite movie character of all time.
Charlie?
Charlie is, yeah.
Might very well be mine too, man. I tell you, if I ever met him like you did, I don't know what the hell I'd say. How did he act when you met him? Because I'm sure for you were probably like, what else has he really done that we're familiar with? He's just Charlie to us.
Yeah, he's done a few other movies that I've liked of his, but nothing compared to what Critters was to me.
No.
And he was super nice, and he was nervous too because he had never done like public appearances for anything like that.
Yeah.
And he'd never done any interviews or anything, so he was just as nervous to meet me as I was meeting him.
Yeah. That's too surreal, man.
That I will never forget that memory of that.
No,
Greatest one of the greatest moments I ever had in meeting celebrities or film stuff at all.
how can you top that? But yeah, so then he goes down, and then the scene that follows it too. Good old Charlie. I love it when Harv says that because it kind of goes back to the first movie for me because I don't think Harv really even interacts too much with Charlie in part 2. But in the first one, he didn't think highly of him at all.
Yeah.
And, he was just a town drunk to him. So I love that scene where he says, good old Charlie.
Yeah.
And then Ugg takes on Charlie's face, and Megan does some more self-narration for us. And I love Harv's reaction there. I think that's one of the funniest moments in the movie too, despite being very touching as well. When Ugg changes face to Charlie and Harv's just kind of standing there, looking over at him and looking back, feeling what the fuck.
Yeah, he seems like he's ready to throw up and like scared to like get near him.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, this weird stuff's still happening. Yeah.
But we get Ugg or we get Charlie back again. He parachuted out of the spaceship and is back in town now, and apparently nobody wants to help him out.
Yeah, no, yeah, as we said, nobody gives a fuck. Like, they were all crying the night before, but then he shows up, and he's like, will you guys help me get my parachute off? And they're like, no, I'm rebuilding the set,
Yeah, yeah. And I was watching it earlier, and when it got to that scene, I started thinking about all the stuff we'd said last time about them building the set, and I started laughing, and then I started noticing the people in the background again. And as Charlie is like asking people to help him get his parachute off, there's these people that are looking at him and then like looking around the town and like almost doing circles trying to like look at everything. And I started thinking, what if we were right? Because these people look like they're like, oh, are we still filming? What's this guy doing? Why is he doing this? Like, is the camera rolling? What's going on? Like,
and then it green screens him in because he runs into Ugg, dressed as him. And but up until then, when he's got the parachute and he's dragging it, he looks kind of green screened in there too, man.
Yeah, it does have an odd look right through that toward the end of the movie there.
And it might just be that the people are circling like you're saying, but maybe they did fucking take footage. That's just stock footage they had of people looking around at the set and spliced them.
I have no idea. But if you have the VHS, it has a very odd look to it. Like whenever Ugg is circling Charlie, whenever there two Charlies there, and you can definitely tell that there's like something going on. Like they use some type of like editing screen or something or superimposed each other over it. But with the DVD, it's cleaned up a little bit, and it's not as easy to tell.
Really? I thought it made it more obvious, but like I said, I've only watched the DVD a few times. In fact, I almost want to say it almost adds like a line down the middle of the screen at one point when they're looking at each other.
That DVD was just a throwaway character.
Yeah, it totally was, actually. No bonus features, a piece of shit. The laser disc is just as good. It's the right artwork.
Yeah, and that's the end of the movie, and it's a fantastic film. It's 100% serious but funny at the same time, and it takes these characters that we love, such as Charlie and the Critters, and it just makes them bigger.
Yeah, it does. And I honestly, I think what I said earlier about how this movie stands alone on its own as the monster movie says it all. The Critters 2 is Critters, and it always will be. You know, it's one of the greatest monster movies of all time.
It is. It is. Well, I picture the whole franchise as one, so I say the franchise is like the greatest monster franchise of all time.
Oh, definitely. I'm just saying, you know, Critters 2 is the poster child for the whole franchise to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's the one that most people remember the most, and you could be right. It could be because of that Critter Ball.
Yeah, and I think if there were no sequels made, I don't think Critters would be as beloved as it is. I think 2 helps people love part 1 that much more.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's so necessary. Whereas I feel like 3 and 4 almost aren't. And, you know, a lot of people say they only like the first 2. I can see why sometimes, despite me. I absolutely love the whole franchise, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. I understand why people like just the first 2 as well. But it's kind of like if you watch them, if you want to watch 2 movies, you would pair 1 and 2 together, obviously, and pair 3 and 4, because 1 and 2 are filmed in the same town with the same characters, and then 3 and 4, if you put like Charlie and Ugg as the same 2 characters that lead the way into make those 2 movies paired together.
Plus, and it literally ends on a to be continued note for part 3.
Yeah, and then 4 picks up in the basement at the end of part 3. So
exactly.
So if you don't like part 3, then you're probably not going to like part 4, or vice versa.
Yes, exactly. I would remind a lot of people, because Bloody Disgusting stole our stolen news today, and there were a lot of comments, and a lot of people were chiming in, which I was glad to see, saying, you know, they're ignoring elements from part 4, and I had to remind them that technically this TV series is kind of like Critters 3.5, because Critters 4 has not happened yet.
Yeah, it won't happen until 2045.
Exactly, you know. So, God, that movie does not look... It was made in the 90s, and it looks like it was on the set of in the 70s.
Yeah. All right, so that is Critters 2, the main course. Sean, any last words or thoughts about the movie?
I could go on about this movie for the rest of my life. And I'm sure there are things that we didn't cover that in an hour from now I'll be saying, you know, snap my fingers and be like, damn it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of stuff we left out. But I'm sure in a future podcast, I'm sure we'll cover one of those sometime.
All I can say about Critters 2 is that it's my favorite movie of all time, and I can't express how much it means to me.
I'm not sure which one. I can't really say Critters 2, as I go back and forth between 1 and 2 all the time, because the first one holds such a main spot in my life, and the second one is my favorite of the series, but part 1 just means so much to me that I don't know if I can not call it my favorite, like my favorite movie of all time.
Did you see part 1 first?
I'm pretty sure I saw part 1 first, and I remember seeing it on TV, and then trying to, like, seeing the second one in stores to rent at the video store, and, like, having to rent that and watch it.
Okay. I definitely saw part 2 first, so that's probably why it holds a bigger spot, you know, for me. You know, I have to, you know, it's my favorite movie of all time is the South Park movie and Critters 2, but they're so different. You know, it's just a tie, you know. But I love this movie, and there's not much more I can say tonight. But the truth is, I could go on forever about it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to end on that note with it, and of course, kill more Krites.
Kill more Krites. Thanks,
right,
guys.
See you guys.
Hour of the night, streets are calling, stealing from the light, shadows crawling. Hour of the night, streets are